Hello everybody, Darren here, and welcome back to Satisfactory. Now in the last few episodes, I've been building my oil power facility. I've been busting my balls, getting the generator room and the refinery room all prepared. But the only thing left now is the packaging and sorting room before we power on the place so that we're making 1200 megawatts of power and producing 40 rubber and 60 plastic per minute with a little bit of packaged fuel to skim off the top as well. Now as usual, in between episodes, over on the right-hand side of the screen, we have the to-do list, all encompassed with the beautiful headline of Oil Power Facility. And over the last few episodes, there's going to be a trilogy of episodes for this oil power facility. We've been making our way through the tasks, but I've added a couple extras onto the bottom. We now have to build the packaging room, power the facility on, which might sound like just hooking up a few cables, but of course we have to release the valves, make sure the flow rates are correct, and make sure everything's outputting things as intended, and then we have the final touches and trim to do for the building, which is just like adding windows, making sure the lights are the right color, that kind of thing, making sure everything looks good. So, without any further delay, let's just get into it. It's been a little while. I haven't actually played the game in about a week, so I've been missing some uploads, so I do apologize for that. It wasn't intentional. I hate being inconsistent. I've been really inconsistent lately. It's kind of interesting because this series, I'm like, someone actually commented saying like I'm, what was it, doing a semi-blind playthrough, which is true. I try not to look too far ahead. I'm kind of one step ahead, learning about what I'm going to be doing any particular episode, but not really any further than that. So that's been a reason that things take a while. It takes longer than you think to actually plan out what I'm going to do, to make it so that I'm not just second-guessing everything I do in the episode, and even still, I end up second-guessing quite a lot. So, just really quickly, I thought while I'm talking this through, I'd just show off what I've done. I've basically colored this refinery room in between episodes, added the lights and things like that. I colored it a black and yellow kind of color because it's crude oil. I thought black and yellow would look good for that. So the fluid industrial buffers and the refiners are all that color. I fixed the little walkways that had a bit of metal on the ends of them. No longer do they need that. People pointed out that you didn't need it. I've inverted the colors of these two refineries from black and yellow to yellow and black because they are double refineries, so they take something that's already been refined and refine it again. So I kind of thought like distinguishing their color would look kind of cool. Colored the pipes so that they're purple for heavy oil residue, blue for water, and colored the water extractor itself just a little bit, kind of a muted orange and blue. I've also added painted beams to hold up the mergers and splitters and things like that to make it all look a bit more natural. I'm really happy with how it's turned out. We also then have the lights on the ceiling a bit more central now to the overall room, and then the floodlights wrapped around the edges. Of course, they come on at night. I like to think my builds have been getting better with each time I build a different factory, and I'm always looking to improve and learn. People have suggested building cavity walls to hold the wires, and then feeding everything back to a central control room for the lights, because of course we do have a lighting switch there, and then there's another one all the way down there. It's not ideal running back and forth. I mean, I don't ever have to touch them again, but it would be nice just thematically to have it in a centralized location. So in future, I'll try to do that, but this place is already designed. You know, the blueprints are there. It can't change too much now without having to redesign so much of it. So yeah, I just really quickly wanted to mention that and show that off before talking about the next thing. So the next thing is that basically I've been missing episodes. I've been a bit inconsistent, not just because of the planning, boo-hoo me. Takes me a while to learn to play a game. But the other thing is that, well, basically, I've had doctor's appointments and stuff, kind of radically throwing off my schedule. What's been going on, and I thought I'd share it, is that we're not actually too sure. But I lost vision on my right eye. On the right side of my right eye. The kind of peripheral vision. Sort of like if you were to look at the sun, and then you look away, you get that kind of dark spot. Imagine that, but then creeping in from the right side of your vision. Just on one eye. And basically that's nothing too much of a cause for concern. It lasted about 15 minutes when it happened, but what happened an hour later was pretty scary, at least for me. I started streaming and I couldn't make sense of anything anyone was writing. I could see the words. My vision had cleared by this point and everything was fine, but I just couldn't make sense of anything. So I'd be like reading words and trying to understand a sentence, and then I'd be forgetting things. I'd be trying to read things and I couldn't finish the end of the sentence. I'd like forget what I was even talking about or thinking of, and I'm forgetful anyway. But it was like to the extreme, to the point where people were mentioning games that I'm very familiar with and I just had no recollection of them. The kind of penny dropped for me when I think it was Kingdom Come Deliverance was mentioned. I was like, I've never heard of that game. And then someone showed me the, what's it called, like the screenshot of the game, like gameplay of the game in motion. They were like, you know, obviously know this game. And then as soon as I saw it, I was like, holy shit. Like, my mind is being wiped right now. So the long story short is that we don't know what the issue was. It did clear itself up eventually. I stopped streaming, went for a walk, and just tried to clear my head, and eventually it all went away. But it means that I have to go to the hospital in a week and figure out, get some scans and stuff done to see what the hell that was. It could have been something called a TIA, which you can Google and look up if you want. A transient ischemic attack, I think it's called. So yeah, kind of brings the tone down a bit, but hopefully I'm all right. Hopefully it wasn't that, and it's just something else. But if it was that, it means that I could be prone to having a stroke, which no one likes to hear that word. So I mentioned this in the Farthest Frontier videos, and I only mentioned this really because it was on a stream. People might be curious, and if I miss episodes, that's why. I do apologize. I still think, even though if I'm sick, you're well within your right to complain about me missing episodes. But I just wanted to let people know ahead of time this time that I might miss some, and there's not much I can do about it. I'm trying not to. And I know a lot of people will say, oh, you know, don't worry, health comes first, and that's true, and I appreciate that. But I hate being inconsistent. I listen to podcasts, and, you know, I have my regular TV shows or YouTube shows that I watch. And it's always nice knowing that they're there, and it's never nice. You hate to see it when it's not there. It's just like deflates your day sometimes, a little bit. So that's all. A bit of a downer, but overall, I actually feel fine. Everything's fine. I'm just obviously a little bit worried about what that's going to be, and I just thought I should mention, at least for you guys, what's going on there. So, let's get back to this. So, we're going to be building the packaging room. This room right here. And effectively, I've already got a lot of it mapped out, but I don't know exactly the layout of certain things. But the broad idea is that we're going to cut a wall open here. Perfect. That leads straight through to our refinery room. This is the sushi belt that takes the rubber and plastic and takes it out to this room. So we'll just copy this. Pop this down here. Attach the belts. Did I build this twice? Nope. It sounded like I did for a second. Anyway, yeah, and connect this up. Sweet. So what we're going to need in here, I guess I'll do the foundations first. So let me just scroll along here. And this is going to have to come out, I think we need a gap of 3. I think that's right. Something like this, and the other walkway or doorway is going to be out there. So of course we have our crude oil extractor. We're going to do that room as well, but it's going to be a sort of a temporary version of the room. And I've actually changed one of the major things I had planned with this place, which was I was going to hook up 2 oil deposits to the facility, but I've realized that really I should have built bigger. Should have built much bigger. Because 1200 power, while it's good, is not going to be enough. We're going to have to build more of these facilities. But I'm thinking of what I'm going to do in future to make things more interesting is going with possibly turbo fuel. People have been saying I should get it. I just have to move that out of the way. People have been saying I should get turbo fuel, and I think that'd be really fun. So this facility should last me to get a few little factories up and running, such as what could we do? Circuit boards, that kind of thing. Sorry, just looking for that. Truck station. The vehicle's still in the way. God damn it. Yeah, so, you know, circuit boards, other little small things that don't take maybe too many materials, at least not early on. It doesn't seem like they do. We could do a few of those and then come back and, like, make a mega facility for power. Now, I kind of like the idea. This place is going to be tapping its deposit almost fully, you know, overclocked. What the hell is wrong with me? Tractor? Oh, it's truck deposit, sorry. Truck station. There we go. All right. Good. Yeah, so this is going to be tapping its ore potential, or like deposit potential, quite a bit. There we go. That's what I want. So I like the idea of actually building semi-autonomous little fuel facilities that do their own things and maybe connect together in a sort of a logistics hub. So I might toy around with that idea so that I don't have to just smash this whole place down, because I really like it. I think it's going to be great. And it would be a shame to put it all to, you know, just redo it all in, like, you know, 4 hours or something, 4 hours of episode time, because we need more power. But I've actually been reading a lot that people have been saying, like, you know, fluid dynamics are really not great the more and more and more you keep adding. Right, this is just for, while it's nighttime, we can see what we're doing. And because of that, because fluid dynamics are a bit of a pain to work with, it seems like a good idea to actually build separate factories to some extent, you know? Just feed the ones you need to. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but we'll see. So, truck station up and running. We have this little extra platforms that we can look out a window and see what's going on. So let's get the road barrier. And we'll pop the road barrier down here. People have told me now, I think I did mention in the last episode, but if I didn't, they mentioned that you can actually do this. You can just look at the barrier and press control, which is an awesome little tip. And that means you're only going to take the space, you kind of replace the barrier. So you don't have to, I don't have to delete things, remove it, or build below it or whatever. You can just get it done the first time correctly. So that looks good. Let's do this across. So put the wall back on, and then we create this nice little gap here. I think, would that look right? No. We could do the gate hole wall and just let it go straight through a hole. Or I could do, for instance, maybe the conveyor wall. That does clip the wall, unfortunately. What about a conveyor hole in the center? Nope. A 3? A 3 works. Barely. Let's just take a look at that really quickly. Hey. Hey, that's different. That's not the same as it was before. It didn't have a ring. And it looks totally different. Did they redo these? It looks good. It looks a little bit better than it was before. Yeah, that's nice. Hey, there's the galaxy. I remember telling people about that in the previous episode, but we didn't actually see it. It only comes around every now and then. It's not there every time. That looks actually way better. That looks really good. Yeah, I was aware that they changed icons and things. I think people had said, like, oh my god. There it is. There's the other one. Oh, it's got little moons. It's got little baby moons. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, that looks way better. What the hell is that? Hey, there's something there. Hey, there's like little machines there. I can see one right in the center of the screen. Do you see it? It's like blinking. So it caught my attention. It's blinking. I'm not crazy. I'll keep the camera steady. It's totally blinking. You can see that, right? I'm not crazy. Oh my god, I wonder, can you like go to it or something? Is there any other ones? Oh, we have the little, like, they look like Phobos and, you know, Mars's little moons. That's awesome. Oh, they look so good now. I'm way zoomed in, but looking at it from here, look at that. It looks great, doesn't it? It was the one thing I kind of complained about. Well, it was a mini complaint where I said, like, the skybox looks so much better, but the planets just completely stood out for some reason, like, against it. They needed sort of a fade through, you know, the atmosphere. To sort of obfuscate the actual planet itself, to kind of fade it out. And they've done that. This one looks great. This one especially. That one I'm a little less sold on. They almost look like they move too... I guess it's just the way speed moves in the game, but a bit fast, you know? Oh, that looks so good though. Yeah, I can still see it blinking. I just can't not see that. Sorry, I'm just so distracted by it. I love things like that. I'm all about the details. Just random details. It's like a game about building factories. And I'm like, oh, look at the planet in the distance. Hey, but I don't know. Something blinking and a machine on it makes me think, if I'm not mistaken with what I think I saw, it makes me think like, hey, maybe you'll be able to go there one day or something. I don't know. Probably not, but it would be cool. All right. And now I completely forgot what I was even saying. Why did I even go out there? I have no idea why I went out there. Anyways, right, let's just continue on before I get too sidetracked. So, we're going to build an awesome sink. Not a shop, a sink. Boop. Awesome sink here. There was a comment actually that said build it in that place where there's a gap between the fluid buffers in the other room. But the intention is always to have it in this room because this sushi belt carries the rubber polymer resin potentially, if it ever gets backed up, and plastic in here. And when the storage containers fill up, I want it to then load into that. The room left in the other room, the refinery room, could be used if I decide to expand this place out eventually, which it could possibly do because we're going to be overclocking the crude oil. Alright, so let me just get focused. So what we want is industrial storage lined up with that pretty far over. I'll just put one down for now because I'm going to have two small... Oh yeah! Oh yeah. The icons are different. That's the thing I read. They've actually redone the icons for even splitters and stuff on the bottom. So we want smart splitter. coming in here. Now, I'm going to be doing this in a kind of an obtuse way, but I'm aware that it's obtuse. I just want you to know that. Is that okay? Yeah. Alright, I'm going to get rid of this. Just push that forward about 1. Just need to make sure there's a gap that I can see the belt. You could just tuck it right in, but I like it to have a little bit of a gap. Alright, cool. Once 1 is done, the rest is easy. So we'll just go 1. We're going to move these with a gap of 2, 3. 3 each and 4 in total. Now, I actually don't even need 4 storage containers. I only need 3. Rubber, plastic, and polymer resin. But you never know. Might add something to this belt one day. Because I haven't, like I said, I haven't looked too far ahead. So we'll see how it all goes. So let's just line this up. It's going to be smart splitters all the way. So I'll show you my workings on why I've decided to do it this way, which I do think is a bit weird. But this storage room eventually will change. I hate saying that, but it probably will change one day. The only constant is change. So with a situation like this, yeah, I'll see how I'll just start doing it, and then I'll see if I can explain it as I'm doing it, why I'm doing things a certain way. I'm going to use a Mark III belt pretty much the whole way. Guide this forward and just guide this in. Just guide all of these. Just need to go into their respective things. Good. Okay. So connect that up. This up. And obviously we have to fix the splitters. A lot of people, I actually can't quite remember the comment now, but there was multiple comments talking about the polymer resin splitter. Like I had a smart splitter doing something with polymer resin. They said something might get backed up. I should really double check that, but yeah, I'll have to check it. I'm not too sure about that. Anyway, one thing I was doing when I was in between episodes looking at the smart splitters, when I was testing things out and how I could divide up into different containers like this, I had a problem and I solved it by just doing any undefined. So this first container is not going to get anything. And there's a reason for that. But well, there's not really. It's just that these ones are important. That's got to be plastic. That can be rubber or polymer resin. I'm going to do rubber and then polymer resin, and this is for something in the future. And then they can go feed into this building later if they need to ever go to a different truck. So the reason I'm saying that this is a kind of a temporary building is because all this room is going to do is package up fuel. That's it. Package up fuel and send it out. Otherwise, everything is just going to go into containers and into the awesome sink and going to be manually collected for now. In the future, I'll have a bigger depot. I think it'll probably be a train that does it. That's why I'm only using a truck just for the packaged fuel. Okay, so I feel like they've updated the lighting in the game or something as well. It looks really good. So, next thing, I need to get mergers. We need mergers right about here. That's actually very coincidentally lines up really nicely on the thing. Didn't really anticipate that, but that looks good. And then we just need another one here. And that's then just going to go in here. So let's just hook this up. Right, so let me talk you through this. Well, the last thing to hook up is here, and then we'll program the splitters, and it'll all make sense, I guess. Okay, so let's just fly up for a second. The idea is that these are all going to be overflow. So the containers are going to fill up, you know, almost entirely. Well, entirely. And then the overflow will come out, join a merger, and go along to the awesome sink. Now, you might be wondering, like, why not just, I guess, pull a conveyor belt out of the container itself and then send it to the awesome sink? The reason would be that this will never fill up then. I want it to be full so that it can be picked up in future by a train or something. And the top layer of this is going to be able to do that. Whereas when I was thinking about it before, if it just comes right onto the belt, it feeds in one way and it comes out the other way, unless I slowed the belt leaving. But even then, I'm only producing about 60, so it's no belt slow enough that would slow it all down. Hopefully that makes sense, and I feel like I'm not making sense. But anyway, it was just the best way I felt to do it. Because you can't have... I thought like, okay, then what about a splitter here that then handles just the overflow? But because it's a splitter, you don't have a smart merger. You only have a smart splitter. I couldn't like join the splitters together properly. So it just seems to make the most sense to me. Hopefully it does. So yeah. Alright, let's just join these up. Let's join to that. This one join to that. Okay, that should be that. I feel like I did the worst job ever at explaining that. Anyways, let's program it. So, we know that coming in this way is our sushi belt of 3 different things. So to the left, I want any undefined. Something that we haven't said. We don't know what it's going to be. Any, for some reason, didn't work. So any undefined should work. And you know what? I'll just say none on the others just to be safe as well. So I just wanted to go left. It's just a temporary area that. This one, though. So to the right, we want polymer resin. The center can be any undefined, and left, none. Okay. This is going to be rubber. On the right, center, any undefined, left, none. Center could be plastic as well, because it's just going to be plastic now, but this is going to be plastic. None and none. Actually, this is going to change in a second. One of these is. So the next thing then would be overflow. So to the right, overflow. We'll just do that for each of these. This one doesn't matter, but I'll do it anyway. Alright, cool. So that means that our sushi belt continues, splits off everything to the right, and then this one will be deciding to go into a constructor to make gas canisters, or whatever they're called. Just canisters, empty canisters. And then that's going to go into a packager. So that's the next thing. Alright, so there's our packager. I want it to be basically here. And then a constructor somewhere here. So that's where the line is, so maybe like that. See if this lines up nicely. Yep. Looking good. Alright, so this is going to be the empty canister. I'm going to set the rate to be 24 because that's the amount of free fuel we're going to have. This rate is going to be 24 as well for packaged fuel, which means it takes in 40, it produces 40. So just set it to 24, that'll take in 24 canisters. So the canisters will go along there into there. So then we need a fluid buffer, just a regular one. We don't need it, but I'd like to have it. Right around here. And back it up to the wall pretty much as close as we can. And then get this to go into there. Alrighty. Cool. So, then we need a wall hole. Join that in there. Just cut this away for a second. Join this as well. This is our crude oil. So, this is our fuel line. This fuel line has to come out into this room and join over there. This is the fuel coming out of the refinery room and going towards the fuel generator room. So I need to siphon off just a small amount of this fuel. So we're going to have to get rid of, I guess, somewhere here and then send it out. So this is lined up at the center, actually. So we'll just get rid of this bit. Put down a cross, a junction. Get rid of that. Just to be safe, I'm just going to get rid of this too and then hook this back up. Hook that up. And then we need a wall hole here, right in the center. Right, so let me just switch to crimson. Color that, color that, color that. Good. And then the other color we need, I'll wait for a second because I still need crimson. Just thinking about it, actually, there was a comment before, and I did actually catch it, but it did remind me. This isn't hooked up. This is while we have the crimson selected. Boom. Alright, that was just one of the fuel refineries wasn't hooked up. Oh, sorry, we have to go downstairs. Alrighty, so a little messy, kind of running all over the place, but basically the fuel line is now coming out, and then we're going to just basically just join it along this way. On a hopefully straight line. And all the way over to there. Cool. Color that red, red. The hell is that? That line. Is that the crude oil? It must be, right? I think so. Yeah, okay, good. Freaking me out there for a second. Okay, so the other trim then we need is gold. And then we'll put a little valve on this just to regulate how much comes this way. Someone actually said, and it kind of ruined it for me, that this is McDonald's colors, yellow and red. Can't unsee it now, but I'm sticking to it. Is that it? I think that's basically it. So let me just switch the swatch colors. There we go. Give it a little yellow trim. So there we go. So a little fluid buffer that we can kind of regulate, but then we also need the valve. There's room for a valve in here. Put a valve along this thing. It's a bit awkward, but right about there. I can regulate how much comes out. So we know that it has to be 24. Whoops. I'll actually keep it to 0 for a bit. I want this to fill up before we actually make anything. I'm going to keep this off. Okay. So it's going to be kind of more manually turned on by me a bit later. So let's valve it up. Is there room for a valve here? There actually is, but it's not really accessible down here. We want it to be accessible here. Well, it kind of is, actually. Let me just see. Whoops. I don't want it to be accessible by sliding, so that doesn't count. So yeah. Alright. So just set it here. And this is going to be 24. So 24 fuel is going to flow out along this way, hopefully, to its destination. And that's going to be made into packaged fuel so that our trucks can pick it up and deliver to our other trucks. Alrighty, good. It's pretty straightforward. I think that's basically it, is it? Did I forget anything? I mean, I haven't powered it yet, but that might be it. We might be done. Oh yeah, I have to hook this up. Ah, just realized this needs to be like another merger or splitter here, rather. Like right on top of it. Let's just get a slow belt and drag that in there. And then this one just goes across to this one. So basically that is the fuel, you know, to refuel trucks that come here. Happy to give it that, and then also load up the actual truck station properly with fuel in here. Alrighty, so that's that. So basically that is everything else then gets merged and goes back into the awesome sink. I think we're pretty much done with this room. It seems like I've used the full space. Don't think I need anything else. Just have to actually attach it all to power now. So let's just put this back on. Let me kill the lights. Kill that line. That was just temporary to build because I knew it was going to get dark. It would just be a dark, dark room in here. So I'll no doubt put lights in here, but maybe I might do that in between episodes. And we're also going to have windows. So, speaking of windows, let's just build up to this. Let's get these two. Let's do the road barrier again. Alright, good. Looking good. So we want 1, 2, and then cut 3 here, I think, is it? 1, 2, 3. Keep hitting my head. Alright, cool. Yeah, again, road barrier, put it down the center, I guess. And then I think I'm just going to hook this up to power, and we'll see if we can get this all done. Or get it turned on, see if it's working. Only thing to do is hook up that crude oil. Alright, let's just pull back a sec. There we go, that's what we got. A lot of thin windows just leading in there, and we'll put the trim on the bottom later. That can look nice. But at least it'll keep the room bright while we're in here. So we come in this way, there'll be railing along here. That's the packager taking in its fuel, getting its canisters. The valve is locked while we fill up, hopefully, the fluid buffer first. In fact, I might do something... Let's get rid of that. Might do something kind of crazy, which is... I want to fill up the small buffer first before we fill up the other stuff. That might be a good idea. So yeah, let's just make sure that this is actually hooked up. So let's get our pipes. Crude oil. This one can stay black. And I guess put this maybe here. Hard to kind of tell, but it's somewhere like there I think it's going to have to connect to. Not that it needs it, but I suppose we'll just put a valve on this just in case, and we could... I'll let that be a full flow 300, that's fine. So I was going to feed in a second thing into this area, but instead what I'm going to do is just overclock it 200% and turn it on. Yeah, let's leave it off. So we have to actually hook it up to power. So power is the next thing. So I might do power a bit more elegantly on my own, but quote-unquote for now, we'll just feed it under here. There is some power lines under here anyway, so it shouldn't look too bad. But I might, you know, might just touch it up a little bit in my own time. So a double wall outlet Mark 1, please. Do I just hook it straight onto that thing? So the thing is there. So I'd rather... Let me just climb. This is why cavity walls would be nice. This is very triumphant music. I think I said this before. I like this Minecraft kind of selection. It's a bit dramatic. Alright, so that has power now, potentially. We'll just halt the production of that. So that is going to be crude oil fed into our refinery room. Good. So let me just, why not just put down a couple of these doors, eh? And that lets us walk underneath here without looking weird. Materials, we want steel, please. Okay. Hey. Alright, nice. So this room's got nothing going on, really, but we could do other things with it later. So the last thing would be some windows here, maybe. 1, 2, 3. Is that a bit much? I think it's okay. Hey. Oh, they're just different icons, are they? They look different. I think it's been organized differently. I don't remember them all being here. But anyway, that might just be me. Oh, did I just put that down? I did. Oh my god. I put it down in the center. Right where it needed to be anyway. Is that it? That's it, right? Yeah. Cool. Alright, so we walk in, we'll get our railings, I'll do that in a second, but we're just going to hook this up to power. So let's just make sure that these actually have power. That's the last thing. So I'm just going to feed up to the ceiling. As weird as that may look for some of these buildings. This can feed just straight over to here. Alrighty. Okay, packager has power, constructor in here has power, nothing else needs power except for the truck station and the awesome sink. So again, pop it to there, bring it up to the wall. Man, it's going to be a real challenge trying to build, like, hide as many wires as possible in future. By building, every room will have to have a second layer of... Oh, right, the thing is actually down here. Alright, cool. Awesome Sink is powered on. And the truck station is powered on, the packager is powered on, and the constructor is powered on. I think that's basically it. I think we're good to start turning this place on. I'm nervous. Let's just toggle off packaging room. And let's try power this place on. So, in order to power it on, everything has power, right? We have... Oh, no, we don't. We have to feed this down somewhere and feed it out. So we'll just go here with a double wall thing. Alright, that should be us. So let's just check. Yellow. Perfect. You're at 24 per minute. Those are off. We don't have a doorway that leads in here, so let's just make one. And I don't know, maybe just here. Just this kind of... Well, no, not here. I tell you what, this door leading there will be better. Then I can just quickly check the machine when I open it. Alright, I think we're ready to go. So, if memory serves me, these are full. Are these hooked up to power? It looks like they are. It looks like they are not. Okay, this is an easy one though. We just have to hook these up to the very top. I thought I did that. I must have done it myself in testing. Yeah, so this is actually kind of tricky. I need to check exactly where the those lights are in the way. Yeah, I'll have to mess around with this a bit. But just right now, I might just like be really finicky with where specifically the power things go. But I have to check that there's one grid that's for the lights and one grid that's obviously for the main power. So it has to go into the main power one, right? So that's done. That's done. That's not. That's done. That one's done. That one's done. And that one's done. So let's just get rid of this. Let's drag this over here. Pull that down. So the main power line. So the power line... Yeah, okay, right, I remember. So basically just have to go down here. This is the main power. And I'm just going to bring it up the same way I did. This is just lights, so yeah, okay. Well, that's fine, actually. So, it's really nice that you don't really see these on the ceiling, but I'm crowding the ceiling like crazy right now. Ow. Okay. Alright, and then it's just the water extractor, and then we'll just hook this up to the other side, and it should be good. Water is extracting, power is online. And they are online as well now, so a little bit of steam coming out of them. So water's flowing into that, or it will be in a second. We need this to be underclocked to just 20, please. Alright, cool. Let's get that. Let's release the valve. We're good to go now. Everything's on. The other room's all connected and hooked up to power as far as I know. So let's go. So that valve is free. These are all full. Ain't filling up any more than this. So, hey. You're ruining everything. Alright, let's turn it on. Let's wait for the autosave countdown. 6 seconds to go. And then I'll turn them all on. Big moment. I'm hoping that this all works and the power just comes on. We've got about 10 minutes left in the episode to see it all come through. So the initial lift, we're just going to go with... I'm going to do one last thing. I'm so sorry, but I'm just like not entirely confident that this is going to work unless I put these extra valves on. So I need a valve, again, somewhere about there. I need another one after every junction, basically. Don't 100% know if I need it, but I feel like I do. Just to prevent anything coming back. So this is going to be 60. This is going to be 120. This is going to be 150. 180. No, 210, sorry. Yep. Alright, cool. Alright, let's try it now. I wish it could really, you know the way you pull the switches down at the power and stuff? I kind of wish we had that for the valves, like actually turn it or something. But yeah, let's just go with, as an option. Obviously you should just be able to do this as well. So I'm just going to go with the full whack, 300, and then we'll taper it back down. So there we go. We're flowing. These should start receiving crude oil any moment. There we go. It's coming in. And remember, they are being valved, you know, to prevent them taking too much. So they should allow them to all relatively come on at the same time. So there we go. We're making our heavy oil residue. It's working. So I'm just going to run out to the crude oil really quickly and make sure that turns on. So it wasn't actually on yet. Now that the fluid buffers are consuming. Okay. Good. So this is flowing. It won't flow just yet, but it should start flowing at 300 as well. We can see this is even beginning to drain just because the front one is beginning to drain. Let's see how we're doing. Just about to get our first fuel. Or first crude oil. So there we go, 89%. We want to see all of these build up to 100. And that's going to be making rubber and heavy oil residue. Let's follow it around. We can follow it downstairs. Water is now flowing as well. We can see the rubber on its way. And plastic. We got our first plastic coming out. It works. The machines are working. We have our first polymer resin, which means we're going to be making even more plastic. This has its 50 water already. Sweet. All good. Plastic and rubber moving along the sushi belt. If things are done pretty right, we should almost never have polymer resin going along. So we can see that just moving along down there, moving onto a faster belt once it comes out of this area. Let's go over to sorting and see how it's all going in here. Yep, looking good. Looking good. So, if to make our packaged fuel and start filling that up now, what we'll need to do is basically just tell it to kind of max out this machine and turn this to an overflow. That's what I want. So this is going to be, the right is going to be overflow. The center is going to be plastic. So plastic's going to go into that constructor once we turn it on. Overflow will come out this way, and then extra overflow will go out to the awesome sink. Good. So our first bit of fuel should be coming in now. There we go. We've got 2.3 liters, if you want to call it that, meters cubed in storage. And we're only allowing 24 at a time. Now, the thing I think I was thinking of doing, English is a fun language, was, this is off, right? No, it's on. But there's zero flow rate, almost. Let me just turn this off. I want to turn that off. We're not going to feed the generators just yet. I want it to get kind of backed up in this other thing first, this fluid buffer. So in order to make that happen, I'll uncap this one. So let it flow. So we're just going to let it flow into here and fill this up. So while it's doing that, let's just put down the industrial railing. Okay, looking good. Nice. So I might stick with the black and gold color, actually. It's kind of nice. That one's fine, and then this. And that means that the railing will have to be kind of yellow. I think it looks quite good having black splitters and mergers and stuff. They tend to look really good that way. Yeah, this could be red and gold, crimson and gold, because it's packaging fuel. The reason, you know, the idea behind the red and yellow really is just that the color is orange, right? So if you mix the two colors, you get orange. Boom. So fuel is orange typically. Kind of makes sense. Alrighty, so that's working as intended, it seems. So we can turn this on now. Actually, not really. Hang on. Pause it just for a sec. I'll turn it on once we get this full up. Pretty much to 400, and then I'll turn it on. That's good. The fuel is coming out nicely. So let's just go quickly check back in at the refinery. We're at 71%. I don't want to see nothing slowing down. We want to get this up to 100. So let's check this one. 100%. Good. As soon as this hits 6, it should basically consume. Yeah, pretty much. Actually, yeah, it usually stores about 1 more than it needs. Yep, good. Almost at 100. We're at 92, 92. 84. Don't like the sound of that. Went idle for a minute because it didn't have enough for a sec. But I think if the pipes just kind of fill up and then eventually they just start flowing in with 300, it should be okay. These pipes are full. I don't know why it would have a problem. Obviously this one, yeah, I guess it's going to take a while for them all to get to their fill rate. But once they're all full, then I can limit the previous valve to a more reasonable rate, like 250, just a little bit more than it needs, technically. Because the way fluid works in this game is kind of weird. You kind of need to give it a little bit more. That seems to be the prevailing thought. I even read some people saying the same thing on Reddit just recently about it. They're like, I assume people that are good at the game were saying like, yeah, you basically need to just hand it a little bit more than it's asking for, because fluid's just not quite done correctly, or the way it kind of should be. Tough problem to solve though. I don't blame the developers or anything the way they've done it. But yeah, then we'd set up I'll have to set up the driving for picking up packaged fuel. So that's the next thing we turn on now. Is this done yet? 160. There we go. You can actually see it like even there. Even in just this one little pipe, it's like moving back and forth a bit. It's so weird the way it does that. It's like, it feels like you need these valves like everywhere. And it makes sense why it's doing that, because we're not producing 300 per minute. So let's just have a quick look at what we are producing. Let's get our rates correct and just understand them. So we've got 3 refineries producing fuel. This is one, so that's 40 per minute. Now they're not at 100% yet, so that's a big key important thing. This is 40 per minute, and this is 40 per minute. So that's 120 per minute, which means we could serve 10 machines. 10 of these fuel generators could work, because they consume 12 per minute. And we just said we made 120. But instead I've got 8. So 8 times 12 is 96. 120 minus 12, 96, sorry, is 24. So that's why I've separated 24 to be made into packaged fuel. That packaged fuel could have been used for, you know, 300 megawatts of power, but instead we're just pumping it into here. So I reckon that's enough now. We could probably just start turning these on, letting it do its thing, and then we'll count up how much plastic and rubber we've made already. Alright, on you go. So you can come out to 24. So this will start getting its 24. It's going to get its canisters, hopefully at 40 per minute, or at 24 per minute rather. Yeah, and that head lift should be no problem. It's tiny. Not seeing it. There we go. It's getting it. It's doing it. And we're good. We're constructing. just gonna turn this off just for a second. I'm a little OCD like that. I want it to be kind of starting off the same. Alright, we'll leave it on there. So, the last thing then would be to cap this to 24 as well. Again, because of the way fluid works, we'd probably only be able to... This machine will probably sputter a little bit. Maybe 20 per minute would be more accurate for it. But we can turn on the generators now. We should have fuel in the pipes ready to go. So I'll just let it flow completely. Love it. And then we should see these things start powering on. Now, fuel is getting distributed, yeah, hopefully at the correct rates. There's valves on all of these machines. It should be relatively even, although it does get less and less as the further and further it goes. But ultimately, this only needs to be at 96, you know? So, let's just cap it now to 100. Should we do that? So that's a consistent 100 that needs to be coming down here. That's 96 for all the machines. So they're going to sputter. They're going to come on and off until they start getting filled up. But then we can check our power lines, and hopefully we can see it eventually becoming a bit more consistent, I hope. This is getting a bit low. Feels like we're running out of everything. So 200, let's say 240. Well, just to be safe, I'll say 250 crude oil is what's coming from that thing anyway. And then this is at 250. Should be at 250 now. Alright, so our consumption is 240. So it's going to fluctuate a little bit, but putting it at 250, from what I've learned, this should work out. So we're at 100%, 100%, 95, 84, 84, and 68. That's so bad. Come on, man. Why? And that was when I was letting everything come out of the pipe. 300. I don't get it sometimes. It's like, why would this ever slow down when it's got a giant buffer feeding it? The drain rate is too... Yeah, see? It's just all about what we're consuming, so I don't know why it wouldn't be 100%. Because until that becomes 100%, our fuel won't be made at 100% efficiency, so it won't power on all the other things. But other than that, everything seems fine. We're producing everything correctly, we're storing them all up. It's not a big concern. I'm sure, given a bit of time, it will balance out. So I'm so confident I've done everything right. We're at 68, 71, 70, 69. Damn it. Yeah, it keeps going idle. I could always check it in between episodes. If you have ideas, you can always let me know as well. This is still filling up. Is this not leaving the... Oh, it is. Is it not going in? Oh, no power. Oh, I didn't hook up the awesome sync either, actually. Whoops. There we go. Fuel is moving in. It'll move into both equally until one hits 100. Nice. Alright, well, it is everything up and running. It's a tiny bit anticlimactic if I didn't have everything running perfectly, but I'm expecting, given a bit of time, the fluid will sort itself out. It should. But I'm seeing a lot of sputtering. Seeing the whole rainbow in terms of numbers here. That's why I think maybe I should have had a fuel buffer here, and then it could have just emptied out more evenly distributed amongst everything. I suppose what I could do, it's a bit manual, but I'm going to do it and I'll keep it in the episode. I'm going to lock the valves. I'm going to let the pipes completely fill, and then we're going to open the valves, because I think the rates are fine. I think the pipes just aren't filling correctly. So just knock these down to 0. And also I know that there is going to be sputtering, of course, because not all the machines are at 100% just yet. So do that. So let's just do that. We'll let the pipes fill. We'll keep these 2 machines on then, the ones next to us. The other thing I'm going to do is just reduce the amount that the is getting carried into the packaging room. That room is obviously less important than keeping fuel online. So in order to do that, we'll just taper this off a bit. So I'll half this. We'll just go down to 12. So 12 is coming off now. Don't need to change the other rates. It doesn't really matter. Goes in the buffer, goes in the buffer. Alright. I'll have to do the trim on the other things later. So I guess we've successfully powered it on. I can at least toggle that off, but some of the final touches and trim will have to be done by me a little bit later. But yeah, if we check refinement, we'll have to have a look at how much we stored up. Just want to check one last time on how these machines are doing now. We're at 66. Yeah, it's not really doing what it should. Not really. I'm thinking just let as much come in as possible and let out as much as possible and let the pipes just really get completely full and saturated. See if that makes any difference. The fact that it's winding back has me worried, so I just want to double check I've done it right. This is consuming 30 per minute. Right, so there's the 30 per minute thing there. So out of 240 that could be coming down, I'm saying just 210 can go on. But again, maybe this was a mistake. Let's just let these go then. Maybe this was a mistake. Like if I check the pipe is full. That's what I don't get. That's the thing that's really confusing me. Like if the pipe is full, surely what's the problem? Like why isn't this full? A mountain pipe, 8.7. Mountain pipe 1. 60 per minute is allowed to flow through. The flow rate is 59. So do I need to put this to like 65 or something? Does that... Yeah, that's so weird. Let's put it to like 62. I don't get that. And how's it doing? It looks like it's getting better now. It's up to 76. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'll probably leave this place on for like a good 15-20 minutes and see what's going on with it. But as these numbers come up, it's if we just reach 100 and everything, I'm fine. You know, I don't mind what's going on. But it should be at 100. I've worked out. I just spent so long meticulously working out rates. 96%. At least this one's doing well. 27 fuel backed up in the pipe. These two seem to be staying on and staying consistent. That's good. Oh my god, just barely though. Even just these two? Well, that's correct, because it's based on what's being fed in. That is correct. Okay. Yeah, it's like the valves that are sending liquid in aren't quite correct. Look at this. 9.4 per minute. The valve says the limit is 12. The pipe is full behind it. So that's kind of strange to me. It does come up though, but then it kind of sinks back down sometimes. So I'm a little bit confused by what's happening there. 11.8, you know, it needs to be consistent 12. But maybe it just takes a while. It could just be the case. I'm not too sure. But so far we're half powered on. So in between episodes, I'm just going to put the valves back onto 12, let time play for a while, and see how that goes. In the next one, we're going to look at how we make turbo fuel and start thinking about making a circuit board factory. The last thing I wanted to check was just to have a quick look inside of our storage containers, see how much we've made and stored up just in that 10-15 minutes that have passed. So we now have 500 plastic, 600, nearly 700 rubber, no polymer resin has come in yet. So looking pretty good. And then out of the packaged fuel, we have 123 and 100 in storage. So there we go, pretty much done. Is there a planet up there anymore to have a look at? I guess not. Alright, that's going to be it. So I'm going to go around, just add in some extra windows. I'll do another little full tour of the building, and we'll kind of really soak it in just in the next episode right at the beginning for just a couple of minutes, and then we'll move on. And there we go. We can see the chimneys that are just poking out of the top, basically. Ugh. So, you know, no carbon monoxide or dioxide poisoning or whatever its byproduct is. And there's the other deposits are over there, ripe for the taking. We've done all this with just one deposit, one normal deposit. So if that's what we can do with one, and it's not even fully overclocked, geez, the amount we can get out of the other three, and one of them's a pure deposit, and there's like oil out to the east as well. It's cool, you can actually look at them from even up here. 64, man, it's after falling back down, but it says 50 now. That can't be right. It's totally full of fuel, so that is correct. The efficiency just isn't right, but it's getting all the fuel it needs, all the crude oil. So that's working. Why is it idle? It's getting backed up. Sorry, I can't end the episode like this. I need to know. Oh yeah, maybe now it's getting backed up because I've blocked the amount of fuel that can be consumed. That would be good then, if that's the case. Just very last thing then. Very last thing. We'll just run in. We'll open up the valves. I gotta do it. And we'll let it flow. And I want to see the efficiency rates then. So 12. Let's do this quickly. Yeah, 120. Why not? And then we're going to make a turbo fuel factory. We'll see how that goes. So these are all on now. They may sputter. We know that. It's at 100 per minute, which is more than they need. They need 96. And it probably will take a while, but that drain rate now in the pipes should mean that this number goes down. It's at 39 stored in the building itself. And that's actually the limiting factor. That's fine. If this is full of crude oil, so is that one. So is... Yeah, actually, that is a bit weird, actually. Oh, no, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's fine. That should be fine, then. We should be fine. Alright, cool. Right, I'm going to end it there. Thank you very much for watching. Look forward to reading the feedback on this one, and then I'll be going through, like I said, just for a quick little finishing tour on finishing off, like, some of the lights and things, and some power breakers I'll put in, maybe. And then we'll get to see. And move on and do a circuit board factory and hopefully have a look at turbo fuel and see what's needed for that. So I have to go find a hard drive, which I've actually found one. I know where it is, so we'll go get that as well. Alright, that's going to be it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey guys, thank you very much for watching, and remember, if you want to support the channel directly, you can click the join button to become a channel member. Doing so will get your name in the credits, as well as loyalty badges and emotes to use in the comments. You'll also get exclusive access to my Discord, where there's dedicated channels for each series I'm doing, and it's a great place just to meet others and make some friends.